G'day and welcome to the Country Rugby League Show. Paul Arundel and Jeff Stevenson back for another episode. A lot of footy on the weekend. It was very wet, windy and wild.
Oh, God, yeah. I was up around Group 3 country and it was sort of up there, looked sunny, and then a big thunderstorm came across and I think affected some games. I thought they can't take a trick up the coast at the moment.
No, they certainly can't. But the sunshine was in Newcastle. There was a bit of sunshine down south coast as well and up the north coast. So
you would hope at least with the crazy winds it will dry some things. They've got some advantage out of the crazy weather we've had at the moment.
Yeah, I think out of all the competitions that BarTV covers, Rugby League, it was only the Sunshine Coast deferred because of the wet weather up there.
Yeah.
And we lost one game down the south coast. Other than that, everything got through.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Well, that's a first for probably this year at least.
I think it is. Yeah. We'll have a look through the some of the highlights now. We'll go to Newcastle. It was round 9 at the Denton Engineering Cup. And Friday night saw Lakes United host the Entrance Tigers, and it was a very close affair throughout the full 80 minutes, but the Tigers in the end picking up the 2 points, 26-12.
A pretty rare night game for Newcastle.
Oh, it was great. Should be more of it.
Yeah.
West were leading Souths for most of the game, and then this one here on the bell, I think it's Jared Flanagan who scores in the corner to win it for Souths. 16-10 over Wests, winless Wests.
Winless West.
Top of the table clash, Macquarie hosted Maitland, and again, this was Macquarie were way out in front. Leading 18-6 at half-time. A penalty goal from Maitland leveled things up, and then this field goal here from Jeremy Gibson, a former Maitland Pickers junior, wins it for Macquarie. So
it looked a bit messy, got the job done though.
Yeah, winning that 21-20, and Curry getting over Wyong 12-10. Well done to the Bulldogs.
Was it Old Boys Day then?
Yeah, saw a bit of them there.
Quite a few there.
And the final game here, we've got Cessnock picking up the points against Central, 38-22. Harry O'Brien having a beauty for the Goaners. That was round 9 of the Denton Engineering Cup, and we'll keep going. We'll go to the Mojo Homes Cup, Illawarra, round 5. Yeah, first up, we've got Western Suburbs defeating Cronulla Caringbah 48-6. Familiar ground, you may be able to recognise it, Jeff.
Ooh.
Henson Park.
Oh, lovely, fantastic. Is that going to be a home ground of theirs, or is it just a temporary measure maybe?
Temporary measure, I think, due to wet weather. And the same here, Corrimal and Helensburgh, 22 all. This is the one that levelled things up. Great run.
Yeah.
And then we'll have the goal here shortly to level it up with a minute to go on the clock, as you can see.
Big finishes.
Yeah, and this one here at Wynn Stadium, at Cronulla Shark Park, was De La Salle hosting Thurrool, and the Butchers getting home late as well. 28-24. Look at the clock. It's just gone to 80, and this wins it.
Fantastic. It's interesting where they're kind of infiltrating the city a bit there, aren't we, as we talked about earlier? Yeah,
and here we're back down here at Wollongong. Collie's hosting Dapto, and Collegians grounds normally picture perfect, but it was a bit muddy, boggy there.
Yeah.
Collie's winning that one 42-10. That was round 5 for the Mojo Homes Cup. We'll keep going. We'll go to Canberra Rugby League, and it was round 7 of the Canberra Raiders Cup. As you can hear, the wind, very windy where we are at the moment. And Woden Valley had a good win, 28-18 over Belconnen United Sharks.
Yeah, they're looking strong at the moment, Woden Valley.
Yeah, a couple of really good tries.
Nice flick.
Yeah, the Gidley flick. Queanbeyan Blues, they didn't have it all their own way. The score indicates 41-28 over Goulburn City, but they scored a couple of late tries to blow the score out. But still, another 2 points to the Blues. And then West Belconnen got over Yass Magpies in another close one, 26-18. Poor old Yass, they've been close. They've been in the fight, but they just can't seem to string some wins. So their time will come.
Their advantage is when it gets really cold down there in the middle of July, and their teams the opposition have to go down there.
And this one was a thriller. It was the match of the round. Gungahlin were all over the Roos, but the Kangaroos win at the depth, and I think it's Brody Ingram here, the halfback. Yeah,
Jeez, again.
Show and go.
After the 80th minute again, under the sticks. Look at the celebration. It's fantastic.
And just then the conversion to win the match.
Yeah, you'd think if you missed that, it would have been a big story. But yeah, fantastic.
Yeah, so that was round 7 of the Canberra Raiders Cup. And we will now go to Northern Rivers Regional Rugby League, the longest competition name possibly in the world.
And getting games up there is quite hard. It's been a long time between drinks for some teams.
And the match of the round was Coogin v Evans Head, and this was played on Saturday, and 44-6 Coogin Hornets.
They did a number on them. I was surprised. I thought it would be a bit closer.
There were some big scores this week in Northern Rivers. Willumbar 56-0 over Kyogle. Poor old Turkeys just couldn't take a trick. The Mustangs are high-flying again in 2022. Tweed Coast had a big win over Lower Clarence, 50-6.
Yeah, looked very comfortable.
Nice try there to come around the posts. Mm-hmm. And Ballina and Mullumbimby, this one was actually pretty close, surprising. But Ballina, the Seagulls, getting the win 20-6 over the Giants.
And it looked like the grounds are drying. It looked lovely up there.
And here we go, another thrilling finish. So you can see there, it's 5 on the clock, less than 5. Morris Brothers score, hit the lead. And then from the kick-off, this happened. So we've got a penalty here for accidental offside. You can see there. I'm not too sure, but anyway. And Todd Carney kicks the goal to level things up to finish 30-all.
Wow. What a finish. And good on Morris. I mean, I've been talking about flood situations up there. You know, good on them for coming out and fighting to the death there against a quality team. Yeah,
that's unbelievable. And so now we'll go to Group 7. 4 of the 5 games got underway this weekend. Shell Harbour will play Berry. I think it's Wednesday night. So it's an interesting camera angle here, but it looks pretty good.
Yeah,
good
it's fantastic. I love it.
And Jamboree defeated Milton Ulladulla Bulldogs 32-16 here.
Yeah, like I said, they were early on my Smokies Jamboree, and that was a good finish.
Yeah, great try there for the Bulldogs. Albion Park got back into the winner's circle, defeating Kiama 22-16. It's a very old-fashioned look. It looks like it's the old Manly Warringah Seagulls. Yeah. Seagulls taking on the North Sydney Bears.
Fantastic. That was a great run. What an individual try.
And Nowra hosted Stingrays here on the Sunday. And, Stingrays picked up another win, 32-12 over the Jets.
Yeah, they're making it look easy so far this season as well.
And the match of the round of Group 7 was Warilla hosting Gerringong, and I thought this one would have been a lot closer. They have been in previous years, but the Lions were facing 2 losses in a row. They blew the Gorillas off the park. It was a great try to finish up here. Our final score in this one was 44-8, and, final minutes of play.
Final minute, have a fling.
Yeah.
I love when teams do that. And maybe even been kind of prearranged before the kicks. You know, I'll flick it to you. You run to the sideline. That's probably what they'll claim. It was all set up. We knew what we were doing.
So that was round 7 of Group 7. And finally, we'll go to the Gold Coast. It was round 8 up there at Rugby League Gold Coast. This one was played on Friday night. It was an arm wrestle between the Burleigh Bears and the Southport Tigers. A lot of people would have thought the Bears would have won this, but turned into a penalty goal fest in the second half, and then this one was to win it, or to level it, and it was missed, so it ended up 10-8.
Good night crowd there.
Yeah. Then on Saturday, Ormo and Helensvale did battle in Tugun, the hub of rugby league on the Gold Coast.
Yes, of Queensland maybe.
Yeah. Ormo Shearers back in the winning circles with a 28-14 win over Helensvale. Then on Sunday, Mudgee Bar hosted Tugun. This one was a really tight one, and the Redbacks picking up the win 22-20.
Watch this.
You can see here just one-on-one strip.
Oh,
Thank you very much.
He went in with that intent, didn't he?
Yeah.
Like he knew what he was doing there. That was a fantastic try.
And again, Runaway Bay hosted Currumbin 30-24. The Seagulls over the Eagles. It was good to see Currumbin They got close, they just couldn't get the points, but a good win for the Seagulls nonetheless.
Yeah, it feels like the season's warming up after all that rain and weather and things. Yeah. Teams are starting to find their form, some quality rugby league being played.
Yeah, so that was all the weekend results on BarTV Sports. Yeah.
Fantastic, yeah.
Massive weekend. It's only going to get bigger, isn't it?
I know, yeah. It's hard to imagine that, we're only really warming up now because there's been so many games cancelled that this is what it's going to be like every week. It's fantastic. And the variety of times, like I said, so Friday night there would have been 2 BarTV games to choose from. Yeah. And that's reasonably rare that there's 2 games on at once.
It was great. I'm not sure what the viewership was, but I believe it was quite substantial because you had a Newcastle and a Gold Coast game on a Friday night. And
it's fantastic. And you could see by the crowds, I mean, even if the crowd wasn't massive at Lakes, I know the crowd looked pretty good at Southport. And it's a different kind of atmosphere.
Yeah.
I'm assuming you would bring a different kind of crowd out on a Friday night, you know. But, I'd encourage if you can do it, you got the lighting, do it.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't too cold. I was at the Carl Oval game on the Friday night. It wasn't too cold. It was just right. Perfect conditions.
Southport would be like balmy up there by this time of year, sure. Exactly.
All right, around the groups.
Around the groups, okay. There's a little bit of the usual suspects around the groups. Talking Axemen, they've finally played. All the Burgess fanfare aside, they've actually played their first home game in 3 years.
Yep.
Last week.
Wow.
So they had a year off and then COVID happened and then another year off and that kind of stuff. So I hope it was a great celebration. It must be happening around the country, not just in rugby league and other sports, where the teams are actually able to say, hey, we're back after a hiatus, bit of weather, bit of COVID guff and that kind of stuff. So it's really, really good. Wayne Bennett was there.
Yeah, had nothing to do. So
I just thought, I don't know whether he was spotting, talent for the Dolphins or up there hanging out with his mate Sam. Sam, for the record, Sam Burgess said he's a slight chance of throwing the boots on this year.
Right. Okay.
Hasn't ruled it out, hasn't ruled it in. He looks fit.
Yep.
So, I don't know. We'll see where that's...
They probably all stayed at Rusty's place and had a barbecue, bonfire or something.
Might be that Bennett was there and he just said, there's a game on the side. Yeah, sure, we'll head down there anyway. Yeah. They're fantastic. Speaking of reunions, anniversaries, that kind of thing, Forbes Magpies have got a reunion day. I like the idea. It's not celebrating a premiership or anything like that or anniversary. It's just a day for all and sundry to come back and have a weekend of it. And it will be a weekend of it. I think it's on the 29th to the 31st of July for those who are in the area or want to go to and get there and you can just don't need to be a part of the club previously. You can just go and enjoy the day. Friday night there's a kind of, get together, catch up, whatever. Okay. Saturday's a game. They play Parks on Saturday. And Sunday's the Forbes Cup, which I really like that connection with local race meetings because I think most people will go away maybe and go for a weekend somewhere for one reason, but when there's two reasons, they'll go, bring it on. And if you're a punters club or anything like that, actually that's a bit of a call out. If you're just a bunch of blokes who want something to do or a bunch of ladies who want something to do, Forbes would love to have you there for the weekend. That'd be great. Bit of rugby league and a bit of racing.
That's awesome. That's great stuff, Forbes.
Yeah, so that they'll be there that day. Royce Simmons arrived in Penrith last week. Not Perth, that was a big walk. Penrith last week and has raised, and this is a bit of a pat on the back to rural and regional rugby league, raised $600,000.
Wow.
Walking from Goolagong to Penrith for Dementia Australia. So
unbelievable.
That would be every little dollar on the way, but also the sportsman's lunches and the sportsman's dinners and the auctions and the raffles and all that stuff that would have gone hand in hand with that. That money's coming out of rural and regional communities and, probably going back into rural and regional communities when the Dementia Australia covers the breadth of the nation. So that's a really good result. Even if it's just got us talking about it, thinking about it, everyone's got a soft spot for Roycey. So that's really, really great result there. Bit of getting more referees in the game stuff. I just found this interesting because Group 7 are running a Foundation 1 referee course, but they're doing it via Zoom, which made me realise, well, of course, then you can like anything, anyone that's been involved in Zoom with these COVID times would say you can do it in your underwear. It's on at 6 o'clock on a Monday night. Anyone that's interested, contact Group 7, I think, on their Facebook page is probably the way to go. But yeah, I thought that's actually might get more people willing to do the course because back in the day, I think I did a coaching course years ago and you had to, in the middle of winter, drive into a venue on a Wednesday night. It's miserable. And I think most people who are thinking about doing it might go, I won't bother. But if it's just, flick your computer on at 6 o'clock, if you've got kids, trying to shove them somewhere and, and that kind of thing, it might get more people completing courses like that. It's a really good idea.
Yep. Well done.
Group 3 news. So, like I said, I was up that way, and a bit of word on the street. Actually, Murph was up there. He was trying to learn to surf. He's not that... I won't comment on his capacity, but, good on him for having a go. We were kind of around the traps and heard that they'd had a general meeting that the rain and cancelled games is becoming a really big issue up there. There are some. I think this week. No, actually, I said no round yet had been played without a cancellation.
Wow.
So I know we're still early days, but what they've decided to do, they've had an extraordinary meeting last week at Wingham Services Club, and they decided they're going to go from a 5-team semi-final format to a 4-team semi-final format.
Okay.
Which I originally thought, what's that? What's the difference? The difference is it frees up another weekend.
Again, yeah.
So they're going to have a 4-team comp. It's now freeing up a spare weekend around late August where they can jam in as many of those washed-out games as possible. So I thought, good idea, and then I did wonder whether other groups may have to go down that path or find unique ways of getting a few more games in to kind of... Does it affect the legitimacy of the comps? I don't know. Like, if you feel like one team's only played 5 games, other played 8, and that kind of stuff, and if you can never even it up,
yeah, I think if they can get so far, and whether it's a team's played one more than the opposition or something like that, it's really, you get into the top 3.
Yeah.
They're the only Feedigham teams that are a chance to win any comp.
Yeah, that's right. And I don't think anyone's there's no sheep stations involved and stuff as usual, but I think it's probably a nice way of doing it. You can say, okay, guys, it's top 4 now. Go for your life, but we'll get some more of those games.
Spewing if you miss out on 4th spot on for and against.
Yeah, or you were the 5th team, and you said if they didn't change that rule, we'd be playing. But yeah, it's a nature. Actually, I think one thing that's come out of COVID is it's created a lot more flexibility in these comps, and organisations willing to think differently rather than go, no, we can't change that, because we've all had to change everything we've done in the past couple of years.
And I just say that's pretty good too on behalf of the group, because normally SemiFinals Gate is taken by the group, not the individual clubs. Could be wrong, could be different in all other groups, but normally the group takes care of the semi-final gate and the club gets the canteen. So they've sacrificed a home game, basically, the group. So
that's a good point. And it is tapping into the legitimacy of the comp this year. So they could have just said, well, who cares? We'll just make money and don't care about how legitimate it is, or how some teams get to play extra games and others don't. So, good result. That's sort of all my around the groups.
Yeah, no, I've got a few little things. You might have seen a few of these on social media. If not, we're going to share them. Might be a chance to go get a cup of tea or whatever. But
don't.
Yeah, this one was first. This is Tinga just helping out the ambulance. There's someone obviously got injured in the lower grade. We don't want to make light of that, but it's great to see the players and the trainers and a few spectators helping the local ambulance get off the ground in boggy situations.
There's always going to be a few strong men to practice their it's almost like rucking skills from the Raras.
Yeah, so and for the record, Tinga beat Narwan Eels 34-26 in that Group 19 match. Now another one. If you don't believe all the reports about all the wet weather, you've been living under a rock or something, have a look at this. This is Galleon Way. This is the home ground of Currumbin Eagles. Now look at that. That looks quite lush and nice. You'd think, be able to play in that. But a club official walking out and just sinking into the turf. Now imagine 3-4 games of rugby league on that.
And it's probably worth checking what we said last week. We were talking about councils getting narky and stuff. I can see that. You would look at that ground, you'd drive past that ground and go, there's nothing wrong with it. Why can't we play? We need to respect that the people who manage these grounds know what they're doing, and that could present as a wonderful ground, and you get out in the middle.
And it's funny because Currumbin's home ground, Tugun's not that far away. It's about 5 kilometres, less than 5. So to think that one's bone dry.
It's wild. Or Tugun, there's something about Tugun. You know, there's this bubble around it. It will never be cancelled, which is fantastic.
One last thing around the groups. Not really around the groups. It's International Rugby League's back on BarTV. Brazil hosting South Africa in Nusa. I never thought I'd actually say that.
Fantastic. That's great news.
Yep. It's sort of a lead up into qualifications for the 2025 World Cup. So Brazil and South Africa, they're going to have a battle up there at Nusa.
Fantastic. I think I've watched them individually. You would have watched them individually, but never play each other. I always like at this time to think, is there any other time those nations have played each other? Because I think we looked into Brazil and the Philippines, and they'd only played each other in Davis Cup. I think it was only one other sport. So we'll have to look into that.
They may have Soccer World Cup may have come up against each other
when it was hosted by South Africa.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll look into that. But that's fantastic. We've been talking off air about the idea of playing some of these internationals in rural and regional locations, and they're doing it. It's fantastic. I think it will. I think a lot of them are played in the metro area because it's easy.
Yep.
There's a lot of players. I know the Brazilians. There's a lot of them who live down there. But making an effort to go a rural and regional ground means that you can inspire that local area and get some people to a game and enjoy an international they would probably never think of watching.
And also, too, it's just not full of, all homegrown, when I say homegrown Australian. Brazil and South Africa, they're both flying players out from their homeland. I think Brazil's got half a dozen that are come out.
Yeah.
And they're in the squad. They may all not get a run, but they just get that feel of playing with... and
this is really my wheelhouse. But I remember that Brazilian game we called. You forget the Brazilian, these are minnow nations. I know most rugby league team fans would say, oh, look, they're just lesser known nations when it comes to rugby league. But when you see a player with the Brazilian jersey on, their family at home, they don't know the difference and they don't care.
No.
We're talking to people there saying, oh, yeah, we've been, BarTV's being watched back in South America. And you imagine the sense of pride watching your son or your nephew or whatever running onto the field in a Brazilian jersey, South African jersey. They don't give a rat's whether the crowd isn't massive or anything like that or that kind of thing. You're representing your country.
And the haters out there that say, as what you just said, look at other sports.
Yeah. England
cricket team comes to mind straight away. So, anyway, Brazil v South Africa on BarTV Sports.
Yeah. Now, there's an elephant in the room. There's a beautiful jersey behind us.
Oh, yes. We got got to thank Golden City Bulldogs for... giving us a jersey. That's last year's. I actually quite like this one, this year's too. But we got the Golden Bulldogs jersey, and also they threw in a stubby holder too. So I saw the collection up the back and thought we need a Bulldog up there. So thanks very much to the Golden City Bulldogs.
I love rural and regional merch, and there's still a bit out there if you know where to look for it. But they've always been my Smokies. They've always been my favourite when it comes to the Canberra Cup. But I really I like the jersey. When it comes to, we should almost have a little segment about jerseys of rural and regional rugby league because some of them are. I mean, I'm not saying some are bad, but some just stand out. Yeah. And theirs does. I love it.
Well, speaking of same comp, Canberra Raiders competition. Gungahlin Bulls. Yeah. Their Indigenous jersey was fantastic.
Yeah. I can't remember the club. Like I said, you keep an eye on Facebook because sometimes it's inner club stuff on there saying you've got to get your jersey, go down and see Pat at the shop. Other times they just say, look, we've got X amount of jerseys, transfer your funds and give us your address. So you don't need to live in the area. No. Obviously you don't because, we could be in Goulburn, but we're not. But, it's as simple as...
It's as cold as Goulburn.
I feel like it. Look out the window and see Lake George somewhere there nearby. But, it's really good to... I think, like I said, during COVID times last year on the Shed, great way to support a club when you can't get there.
Yeah.
And also... in two ways, Paul will be wearing this around town and everyone will be like, who's that again? Any rugby league fans and jersey nuts will be looking up close and go, oh, there you go.
Yep.
Suddenly Goulburn City has a little bit of exposure outside of Goulburn.
Well, we're running out of light here. We've got to pay the power bill this season. It's Quizmasters trivia. Last week it was won by Drew Hinton. He guessed the question. The question was, he guessed the answer wrong, I should say.
Yeah.
The question was, how many, there's 3 former internationals playing in the Rugby League Gold Coast. Name them, or name 3. And they were Isaac Luke, I'm having a shocker. Isaac Luke, who played 43 tests for New Zealand between 2008 and 18. And Ben Hannett, 6 tests for Australia between 2009 and 12. And Sam Tagatese, 6 tests for Samoa between 2009 and 17.
I reckon I got 2 of those. I forgot Ben Hannett. I forget that he's, as a 40-something-year-old, still running out there. Good on him. But no, it's fantastic.
Yeah, so that was a Quizmasters trivia question, won by Drew Hinton. Well done, mate.
Yeah, good on you, Drew.
This week's question is, how many draws were there the weekend just gone? So, I'll give you a hint. You can go to BarTV Sports and go through the list. It's pretty easy one this week. if you can be bothered.
And if you could guess, you would
Yeah.
think not that many. They're pretty rare. It'll be interesting to find out because it was a very, very close, right across up and down the eastern seaboard, very close bunch of rugby league games this week.
Yeah, so that's the Quizmasters trivia question for this week. How many draws were there last weekend just gone? So, good luck. All right, mate, this weekend coming up heaps of footy, not just on BarTV Sports, but just around the country. We'll preview what's on BarTV Sports, though. Round 10 of the Newcastle Rugby League Denton Engineering Cup. Maitland v Central, that's the feature match on Saturday, but there's a couple other good ones. South v Macquarie will be...
Yeah, that's the one I'm looking at.
Yeah.
I think Souths are just I've been saying it all year. They're plodding along, not raising a lot of eyebrows. They're just notching up some wins.
And also the Coast Derby, the entrance v Wyong. Could come down to those two fighting for that fifth spot.
Yep, and not a match where you expect to be a close tussle necessarily, but West versus Cessnock. West at some point need to go, we're going to do it this year. I'm calling it. This is the week where they need to show everyone we can do this against a quality team and build from there. Otherwise, I think if they keep having round after round after round of losses, there's some point we've got to say, sorry, Wests. I know last year you did it. I don't know how you're going to do it this year.
All right, I forgot to mention this. We should have mentioned this in around the groups. Illawarra Rugby League, round 6 is a magic round.
Magic. Are they calling it that?
They are.
Good. Yes.
At Wynn Stadium. So I think... because there's so many waterlogged grounds, you would have seen in the highlights earlier that they're playing on random grounds.
Yeah.
Last week they played at Henson Park.
Henson Park's fantastic.
And Shark Park.
Yeah.
In Sydney. So
this
week they had a magic round at Wynn Stadium. There they are up on your screen there. Dapto and Coram will kick it off, but the last one there, Collies v Wests, that will be a beauty.
Yeah, and we'll be into the night, like the sun will be setting about that time, so you'll have that morning game of 11:30 kickoff, and then you sort of, that's a great idea. Not a great idea, just a great idea for Magic Round, but it's pretty good setup for games. Like you can be home, it's not too late, you don't have to rock up at the Sparrows and have a great day of rugby league. Yeah,
so well done, Illawarra. Round 7 and Triple RL, Coogin v Maris Brothers. That will be a interesting one, but also Bellamble v Evans Head. I like the look of that one too. Ballina and Northern United have the bye. I swear Northern United have a bye every week.
Did they play last week? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure. But
who knows? Yeah, there'll be some good games there. Tweed Coast versus Kyogle. I think Kyogle need to bounce back as well.
And... Group 7, Round 8, Gerringong host Albion Park. I like the look of that one. That should be a beauty. Yeah,
that'll be a cracker. Stingrays versus Milton Ulladulla. Like, it's really... They've really thrown down the gauntlet a little bit, the Stingrays. It'll be interesting to see how they go there.
Now, Wednesday night, you could be watching this tonight. Berry is taking on Shell Harbour. That was the catch-up game for Round 7, and then those two teams got to back up. I think Berry's got to back up on Saturday, so
nice.
Big test. But anyway, Round 8, Canberra, West Belconnen v Queanbeyan Roos, the form team of the comp, you could say. They've back-to-back wins. Yeah,
that'll be a big game. Goulburn City versus Tuggeranong. That'll be one that they'll hope to secure 2 points.
Yeah, that's it. Tuggeranong on top, I believe. Coming off the bye. So
that'll be... I mean, I think Goulburn, if they're not winning games, I'm not talking them up because they're our new friends, but if they're not winning games, they're pushing pretty much every team. I'd be interested to see. I don't think this year they've had a flogging against them. No. I don't think. No. But they give it a red-hot go no matter who they're playing, so that'll be a good game.
Sunshine Coast, Round 5, they're back. Kawana host Caboolture. Nambour v Noosa and Maroochydore v Caloundra and Biwa host Gympie. So fingers crossed they can get on. Yeah. And
Bruff's Kawana need to probably pick up their game because they've had a couple of close losses.
Yep.
They need to get the Bruff polish on them.
Rob Bruff is your new Snowy River Bears.
Yes, I don't know what it is about him. Imagine if they came together. Imagine if I was the Clive Palmer of Rural and Regional Rugby League, I would get Bruff to Snowy River. Yeah. Sorry, Kawana. But no, I just find it compelling, and the fact that they're quite a good rugby league team too. Yeah.
Rugby League Gold Coast, Round 9. There's only, believe it or not, Round 9. That means there's only 5 to go. That's winding up really quick.
That is long.
Grand final replay of 2021. Tugun hosting Burleigh. And but the feature match will be Currumbin v Helensvale, so a tussle down the bottom for a change.
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, Helensvale, Currumbin, and Ormo are kind of those other teams, but they're all they've all had form this year in their own way at different times. So yeah,
well, fingers crossed they can get onto Galleon Way. We did show the clip earlier of what the ground looked like
drying
last
as we
week,
speak.
So yeah, if they're getting the wind that we're copping here at the moment, then
surely they'll be fine.
No problem, they'll be able to ice skate on it.
If not, everyone just play Tugan.
Yeah,
That's just everyone's solution to everything right now. That's fine.
And as we mentioned before, the Test match, Brazil v South Africa at Noosa. On
BarTV.
On BarTV.
Brilliant. Okay, I'll be there. That'll be fantastic. It'll be difficult to pick, although are there any night games to competing with it? But I think we'll be right. There'll be a clear air there for it.
Yeah, I think they've got it all to themselves. So
lovely.
It should be beauty.
They need a cup. They don't have a cup. I know there's the Magellan Cup for Brazil and the Philippines. So I have to work out a cup for the Brazil versus South Africa.
Well, I'm sure Rob Bergen, who's involved with Brazil, he would have done his research, and there'd be some connection between Brazil and South Africa.
Good. I really like the Magellan Cup. I like the fact that Magellan went to Brazil on the way to being murdered in the Philippines, and they decided to make a cup about it. It's fantastic. Yeah. There's got to be something there. Someone must have visited Brazil and got murdered in South Africa at some stage.
It's quite possible.
Anyway, we'll see.
Yeah. Excellent. Well, that's pretty much it, mate.
Yeah, it's been a fantastic show. Like, it's been a lot to get through, and there's a lot of news out there. It's fantastic.
Yeah. All right, that's the end of the Country Rugby League show. Paul Arundel, Jeff Stevenson signing off. We'll catch you next week.
See you then.